everyone, and welcome to Ready, Set, Science Teaching Tools for the 21st Century, Part 2. I'm your presenter, Carla Huxon, and I'm your K through 12 Science Curriculum Coordinator. And you can reach me at kuriola@ebrschools.org if you have any questions for all things science. All right, let's take a quick look at our agenda today. We're going to take a brief look at the instructional strategies for writing and drawing. We are going to look at some tech tools on how to actually create these activities for our students. And those tech tools are the Nearpod Draw It activity and the Kami Draw It activity. And then we're going to have our closing and our exit ticket and survey. So remember that don't just take my word for it. Initial and ongoing writing and drawing is research-based, and you can check out one of my favorite books this year is Science in the City, and it is by author Brian A. Brown. And Mr. Brown says that all students know things, however, they may not express their knowledge in academic language. And Mr. Brown also says that teachers can no longer expect students to be able to offer a correct answer and rich arguments on the first try. Instead, effective science teaching would allow students to engage in multiple explanations with an assumption that if they continue to explain and revise their ideas, they will talk and write their way towards fluency and scientific accuracy. And again, that is by author Brian A. Brown, and the book that he conducted the research on is Science in the City. So the last time we met, we actually went over some writing and drawing for sense-making shifts, and we just kind of reviewed on where we are shifting to. So there is a less of a focus on writing and drawing for students to show what they know, but more of a focus on writing and drawing for students to figure things out. They're actually building on understandings of phenomenon and science ideas. We are shifting from a focus on writing and drawing for recall and more of a focus on writing and drawing to make sense of investigations, readings, and experiences. We are no longer just having students recall and remember science vocabulary, but we actually want them to use science vocabulary when they need it and build off of their resources. We are shifting from privileged final form only reports and written arguments and final models to more of a focus on prioritizing multiple different forms of writing and drawing across the unit. We are moving from writing and drawing for just a general single audience to focusing on writing and drawing for different audiences for different pieces with different purposes. There should be less of a focus on single disconnected writing and drawing tasks in science and more of a focus of writing and drawing as a continuing practice in science. So always allowing students to go back and revise that initial model. The last time we met, we also went over some key instructional strategies for writing and drawing for sense making in science. And if you did not get a copy of it, or if you would like a digital copy of instructional strategies for writing and drawing, you can click on the link here of the title page on this slide, and it will take you directly to your own copy of instructional strategies for writing and drawing. And some of those strategies for writing and drawing for sense making in science is audience and purpose, choice, characteristics, talking out loud, evaluating examples, selecting from options, using a graphic organizer, sentence stems or image starters, a checklist, working together, self-evaluating, and providing feedback. And so the last time that we met, I actually modeled a lesson for students and teachers to use choice. And you put your teacher hat on and you became a student and you got to actually draw your initial model and you were able to choose what you drew, how you did it, using text, words, showing what you know. And so I got a lot of emails and questions. Teachers wanted to know how could they create their own draw it activity to implement and utilize in the classroom. And so we're going to go over that right now. And then also I just wanted to show you an extra resource or tool that you could use with students that is aligned to the 21st century way of teaching science, which is Kami Drawed Activity, if you're not comfortable with the Nearpod Drawed Activity. So I'm giving you a choice. I'm going to show you how to use the Nearpod Drawed Activity, or you could actually choose to use the Kami Drawed Activity to provide students with the instructional strategy of choice. All right, so let's try the Nearpod Drawed Activity. So I'm going to click on the link provided on the Google slide. However, if you want to just go to nearpod.com, you can do that yourself. And I'm going to click on My Nearpod. When you click on it, it's going to take you to your Nearpod. And it's going to load. Once you get to the page that looks like this, that is basically your library, you just click Quick Launch. And then it gives you some choices. You actually want to click on the Draw It because you want to create a Draw It activity. Remember, the focus is drawing. And then I've already saved the PDF template that I'd like the students to use to create their initial model. And it's saved on my Google Drive. So I'm just going to click on the Drive icon, and it's going to take me directly to my thermal cups PDF. Okay, and then I also like to put a timer on the activity. So I'm going to, I clicked on this arrow here on the left. It's going to bring me to add timer. And I like to give students at least 3 minutes to create their initial model on explaining what's going on in the anchor phenomenon. You may want to give them more, you may want to give your students less, that is up to you. However, I do suggest providing a time limit so that students know that they don't have 30 minutes to create the initial model. And then also remember, we are going from a focus and shifting from this model is final and you can no longer go back to it and it's turned in, it's one and done, to more of a focus on you are going to be able to go back and revise this every time you learn a new science concept to apply to this anchor phenomenon. So it is more of a focus on being able to come back to this initial model and always improving it. All right, so now that we've got our Nearpod, I want to go ahead and save it. So I'm going to hit save. And while it's loading, it is going to give you a code that you can use right away to launch with students. I always suggest previewing the activity before you launch it with students. So I'm going to click out of there. I'm going to hit the arrow to the left. Yes, I can resume this later. I want to actually review it and make certain that it's actually ready to go for students before I initiate with it. So initiate the lesson with students. So I can preview. And it's going to load. And now I can see in the view of the students exactly what the students are going to see when they initiate this activity. And I can quick launch it. That way I know my timer's working. Start activity, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, yeah. And so the students can actually draw and manipulate it, and they're going to have 3 minutes to do so. And then you can see here that as the students join, the student list will tell you who's logged on, and you can actually see in real time what the students are working on and what they're drawing. So that is how you create a Nearpod Draw It activity. Now I want to show you one more Draw It activity that you can use. That way you have choice on which tech tool you would like to use. So I am clicking on the direct link to my drive that has my Thermal Cups PDF saved already. And all I'm going to do is just click Open With, Annotate with Kami. Kami also has the draw feature, so You can do a lot more with Kami than just annotate. And students, the great thing about Kami is that students are already familiar with it and know how to use it. So it is really great for the teacher who is not quite comfortable with Nearpod, but they want to start using a tech tool like Kami and that the students are familiar with. And so you can see that students can actually draw. If they make a mistake, you can erase. They can insert text box and start typing to explain what's going on in this anchor phenomenon. Kami is a really, really great tool that students can use to actually draw and go back to their initial drawings in science. So please use Kami if you have not. And as always, I hope that you enjoyed today's PD. I want you to don't forget to fill out the attendance and survey link. And if you have any questions about creating a Nearpod Draw It activity or a Kami activity, or if you would like me to come out and model how to create this and launch it off with your students and use it in the classroom, please fill out the instructional support request form. And if you have any questions at all about anything science, contact me, Carla Hudson, and my email is kuriola@ebrschools.org. Thank you, and I can't wait to see you.